What's up, guys? We are live. Yeah, Well, I had to run and go take care of something, so probably had a 10-second delay. Sorry, everybody. Although the millions and millions of people watching at home. That's right. That's right. Look, it has it. If you check right now, it has it. I fixed it after you let me know. Look, I was in a hurry. Okay, things happen. Life, finds a way. But you know, I guess before we get going, uh, I don't know. You guys got anything to talk about? No. I was gonna go somewhere and then I had a complete brain fart. I'm so sorry. It's good, huh? It's pretty good. Dude, you're so stupid. Dude, that's one of my top five favorite Metallica songs. So Leper Messiah is a skipper for me. Leper Messiah is easily the weakest song on that album. It's not even remotely close. No, you're just incorrect. That's fine. You can be wrong. It's okay. Jason, we know you are the king of procrastination. Yeah, you need to get on that. Yeah. Not obviously. I mean, I would include Ride of the Lightning in there. I feel like you're not doing him justice. I mean, look. Look. I would say this: Metallica as a whole. I mean, the what is that? The 8-year run that they had from 83 to 91. If they'd have retired there, that's probably the greatest run of all time, and it's never going to be topped ever again. Um, I mean, and because that would include the commercial success and the creative success and just like everything. Like they could have retired after the tour on the Black Album and probably still held in nearly the same regard as they are today. Honestly, I mean, Higher. Yeah, to be fair. And I mean, because look, let's be honest. The bulk of their live performances encompass about 80% of the first 5 albums. Maybe 80% might even be underselling it. Yeah, so Moth in the Flame? Or you mean, or older? So, I mean, look, what? Yeah. Oh, you know what, guys? Go ahead and say something.
Oh God!
You are now unmuted. Only I was talking.
God.
Oh my God, you are the stupidest motherfucker I know.
God.
Oh my God. Dude, we call ourselves professionals.
Yeesh.
Have another beer, Dave. Apparently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh man,
drunk Dave is already here.
this is brutal. Look, it's a good thing I've at least found it before we really got going. Yeah,
I can't believe one of our 5,000 listeners didn't.
I will 100% have to put timestamps now. Because they need to skip the void. I was like, as Josh was talking, because I like as Jason was saying, you know what's good, the start. Yeah, and then I scrolled. I was like, okay, we're about to start. Let me scroll down here just to make sure everything. Oh no! And then that's when I saw it was not unmuted. So there you go.
Oh, way to go, Dave.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's so unprofessional.
Yeah, actually, facts. Very unprofessional. Look,
Yeah.
I wasn't muted, so they got part of the conversation.
They got 33% of the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, look, here's the good news. We're doing the first part of the Metallica Metalhead's journey next week. You guys, you got just a taste of what we're going to talk about next week, just from Dave's point of view. So, luckily, nothing is spoiled for you, and that means you got to show up and listen to us talk about the greatest heavy metal band in the history of motherfucking time. But for now, we're talking about the greatest science fiction franchise in the history of motherfucking time.
That's
Star Trek.
That's not accurate at all.
This month.
That's 100% accurate. More particularly, we're going to be talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 4, the back half of the season, baby. The motherfucking DMA.
So, wait, we'll just get there. I was going to ask a question, but let's just save it.
How about you suck my 10C, Dave?
Dude, I'm not even sure the 10C.
The TNC? What exactly is a TNC?
I'm not even sure that they do anything. Like, I don't even know what they are, dude. They're just like...
What do you mean they don't do anything? They destroy universes.
Why? Let's get to it. Let's talk about it.
What do you mean, why? We're talking about it now.
Benzonite, Dave. Benzonite.
Okay, sure.
A source of energy, Dave.
All right.
Idiot.
I think it
What
was
do you mean, why, Dave? They say it in the fucking show. Did you even watch the show?
I did.
know how you watch shows,
I know.
which is why I understand why you can't follow along, because you watch like 5 minutes, and then you come back and watch another 5 minutes, and you're like, this wasn't really going anywhere. Let me fast forward 20 minutes.
I know
how you watch.
I know how I watch shows that aren't interesting. That's all
right?
That's right. We'll talk about it. Let's not spoil the fun.
It's cool. Let me tell you what I'm going to do for Obi-Wan. Not watch it.
Dude, after that trailer, there's no way you're not watching. You'd watch it even if we weren't reviewing it.
No, I wouldn't.
You would.
I 100% wouldn't. I'm not watching next season of Mando either.
You
I'm
won't
done.
Watch
I'm
it.
out.
You watch it and then tell us I ain't watching that shit and be.
And you'd be, and then you'd be in bed. You'd be in bed and be like, Amanda, we're gonna watch the new episode of Obi-Wan. And and then you'd watch it.
Amanda's gonna watch Obi-Wan.
She's a big Star Wars fan. Didn't tell you.
Are you gonna watch Obi-Wan? The show?
Like she's gonna tell him the truth.
He just
says I don't think so.
All right.
What?
Hey, Mac.
Yeah. Just be quiet. just say no.
I talked to your wife?
Josh is like, abort. This isn't going how I planned.
Yeah, she said no.
Yeah, she said no. I'm trying to pull the ripcord.
Go ahead and mute and say you're sorry. Oh shit. He totally fucking muted. Oh god.
Oh man, we need to start this.
No.
Watching Obi-Wan is trash.
Convenient unmute. It's a convenient unmute.
Let's go. That's right.
Anyway.
Watching Sex in the City.
What?
Yeah, we heard that. Everybody heard that.
All right, that's enough.
Okay. Do this.
All right.
Josh, have you started it? Have you started the intro yet?
No.
Can you pull it?
Shut the fuck up.
What? One shot.
Where is he? He's right under you. He's right above you. Where?
I don't see him.
Oh, and it's a giant plant monster.
Oh man. Hey, I take the shit out of that thing in ret.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I was probably wearing a menagerie of healing gear, tank gear,
cloth, leather, and plate.
Yeah.
It's like this dude's squishy.
Yeah. I was the best goddamn tank y'all ever fucking ran with.
Playing on that Sony Vaio.
Hey man, put some respect on that, all right? The best tank you ever ran with.
Look, that's not a lie.
That's right. All right, shut up.
But
Hello and welcome to Three Guys in a Mic. Resist start. I gotta cover Dave up here with my screen. Okay, here we go. Shut up. Hello, and welcome to Three Guys in a Mic presents Star Trek Discovery Season 4 Review. I'm your co-host, the Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami.
And David Disaster.
Hey, we made it.
Oh,
We're back after a hiatus with Star Trek.
Yeah.
It was a good break. Trust me.
It was good while it lasted. Now we're back to Star Trek.
what does that mean, Dave?
Yeah,
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Look, let's just get it out in the open right now. Dave doesn't like the season.
No, I don't. I have. Here's the problem. There's many of them.
There's not. I have literally one issue written down.
Yeah. Here, I mean, like, there's just lots of issues with this show, and the good did not outweigh the bad for me.
Okay, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, Dave.
Dynamite analysis, Dave. Way to go.
Well,
Hey,
I don't want to spoil. I don't want to start off the podcast just rattling off all my problems.
Yeah. Well, clearly, Dave doesn't know what he's talking about. All right, so hey, if you're joining us for this, we're talking about the second half of the season 4 of Discovery here. So that's episodes 7 through 13. No, excuse me, 8 through 13. You can go back and watch episodes 1 through 7, and you can listen to us talk about episodes 1 through 7 in the first part of this podcast. It came out a couple months back. I can't remember exactly what day, but it's back there in the archives where we broke down the first half of the season. So today we're going to focus on the second half, which takes us from episode 8 all the way through the season finale. So just some general thoughts here. What do you guys think about the back half of the season? Dave, I don't want to hear your opinions, so Jason, why don't you go first?
Look, I did not know where we were headed in the second half. The first half of this season was above average, but it was still kind of hit or miss. There was some stuff going on. We were trying to figure out what was going on. We didn't know where this was headed. I don't know if about a month-long break in between episodes 7 and 8. I don't know if that had any bearing on my attitude or stance towards the show, but I would say probably in episode 9, like the story started to get to me. I started to get actually interested in the story. There was some character development, which just has not been at the forefront of Disco since this whole show started, really. If it didn't sit around Burnham, like it was just an extra character. But we started to get some actual character development. Burnham actually started listening to the crew and seeking some advice.
Hold on a second, Jason. Say that one more time. Hold on, let me take my headphone off so I can hear you. Burnham started doing what again?
She actually started asking for advice and stopped being the demigod of Star Trek universe, I guess.
Oh, okay. I just thought maybe that complaint would come up later from some other chucklehead, so I just wanted to hear it again.
That's partially incorrect.
That's not solved.
It's a bad take.
It's
a bad take.
It's not solved. But the second half of the season, especially, I liked the Tarkin storyline and development, and kind of where we were going with this first contact. Story started to pick up speed, and it took me along for the ride, man. I was pleasantly surprised. I binge watched the second half of the season. I thought I was going to save like the last 2 episodes and watch them today, but it kept me watching from episode to episode, and I finished it all yesterday. So I have hope, some hope going forward for Discovery. This was definitely way better than season 3. Not as good as season 1 or 2, but it was way better than season 3.
I mean, look, season 3 was a really low bar. So, I mean, yes, I agree. I agree that this was better than season 3. But, again, that wasn't going to be hard to do. Season 3 was mostly a disaster. And this wasn't a disaster, but this still had numerous problems and problems that have continued on since season 3. And, frankly, kind of tired of them. I'm going to be honest. So, to me, Michael Burnham is like the main character in a video game, which is fine if you're playing that video game. But if you're watching a show, it gets old. She's a Swiss Army knife, and
I agree.
She's pretty much used for every important aspect of the show, the members of the bridge are not important.
That's not true.
No, it is true.
I would say that is an accurate statement, but I also would say that in the second half of this season, that part of the crew actually started having input in what was going on.
No, there was a moment near either the last episode or the second to last episode where they needed a pilot, And it was a chance for the pilot of the Discovery to step up, and then they just had a random expendable character do it instead. Not a random one, but then they had, the general or that.
General.
They had her do it instead.
The general from Earth that was feeding information to Book. Yeah. Yeah, just some random character, right?
Because they want to give it because the show wants to get.
They want to fucking kill Detmer.
Because everyone gets a redemption storyline in this show. Not everyone has to be redeemed.
Look, I will say that there are issues with what Dave is saying that are accurate. Like, there's no reason that this lady should have even been on the bridge to volunteer herself.
Yeah,
she acted.
Why aren't these people being arrested? Why is Book get to just not be in jail at the end?
He is arrested. He is arrested, and then he gets sentenced to community service.
Oh, for almost ending the planet.
He didn't.
Give me a break.
Let's wait. Let's wait. Look, that is one of my issues.
Give me a break. The show's a joke.
Okay. Listen, the show's fantastic. This is definitely a return to form for Star Trek Discovery after a very disappointing season 3. I thought it was actually refreshing that the show was able to create as much tension as it was around the DMA and things like that, but also around just really not having, at the end of the day, not having like a true villain. And they were able to showcase, like, diplomatically, how to diffuse a situation from a race that didn't quite realize that they were hurting so many people. So I thought that was a fun switch up for anything in general, because I mean most shows have like a direct bad guy. So I thought that was kind of cool and refreshing.
Yeah. Yep, everything has feelings, Josh. Everything feels bad for you. Everything wants to cry, and we're all sorry. And that's the message of this show.
Look, I think it's okay. Why can't this show be about something like that?
That's fine.
Why do people have to have a problem with that?
I would say, look, a part of that is an issue. You don't have to have somebody crying in every single episode.
Bro.
It's okay.
But that is... Look, I'm not sitting here saying that I enjoy seeing that like all the time, but that is what this show has built itself upon.
And that's... Look, to just clear the air, I'm not necessarily saying that's bad. It's just not for me. Like, that's not why I watch television. That's not why I watch these shows.
That's why you're saying the show is terrible.
That's why it's terrible for me. This is just not for me. I'm just not into it. This is just, like, once this was over, I'm like, there's literally, like, everything that happened in this show, like, when they got to the very end, I just felt like the consequences didn't match all the tension and everything that was built up in this show. No important characters died. No characters who were bad even really paid for their crimes besides the one guy who was interesting in Tarka. He's the only interesting storyline in this show, and he's the only one that gets to die.
Who else was bad?
Did he?
Huh?
Did he die?
Oh, well, yeah, man, who knows? But you know what I'm saying, right? I'm just saying he was just like, I just feel like, what was the point of this whole season? Because, like, I guess, I don't know. It is what it is.
What was the point of the Mandalorian season?
What I'm saying is just that it's just felt like ultimately the consequences of all of this action amounted to pretty much nothing for me.
The consequences of all the actions, well, they were able to negotiate with the 10C to stop going around and mining all that shit and to take themselves out from behind their giant bubble and just be out there and, like, don't worry about hiding. So, yep. One, they got these guys to stop spreading around this world-killing device, okay? Secondly, Book was arrested. He's not with Michael Burnham, and he's out having to do community service. And Ndoye, who knows what happened to her? She almost died.
almost.
Yeah.
I mean, she probably
Could have.
that. I don't know what the timeline was between that and the end of that. She was probably just sleeping in a bacta tank for like, a month before that happened, just getting everything healed back up, like your favorite fucking show, Dave.
Dude,
Look,
I hated Book of Boba Fett. So there.
Well, I hate you. How about that?
So how about this recap, huh?
Hey man, go ahead and spit that garbage.
All right, Jesus, what a warm up. Second half of the season picks up right where we left off. Book and Tarka have gone rogue and are wanted by the Federation. Two sides racing to different outcomes. Book and Tarka are after destroying the unknown entity known as the DMA. The Federation is hell-bent on making first contact. In a race to acquire isolinium, it could be used to build a bomb. Both parties end up at the same casino doing shady business. Operations officer Joanne gets into an MMA fight 3 times, and Burnham loses all of their money in a high-stakes poker game.
Joanne.
Yeah. Was it
You don't want to take a stab at the last name?
No. Not even. I didn't even write it down because I knew that I was never going to make that one work.
Yeah. Owushaku.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Anyway, so loses all of their money and the isolinium to Book in a last man or high stakes poker game. A tracker on the isolinium leads us to our next encounter of the two groups. This time, almost killing Saru and 2 other unnamed, believe it or not, unnamed crew members that are actually like regulars on the show, but I can't remember their names.
Oh my God.
I know. Once again, Book and Tarka escape, but this time...
Pause.
Yes.
When did you write this recap? Today. And you watched all the show yesterday. You watched 6 full episodes in a row.
Correct.
But we're saying it's the fact that these are unnameable people that you can't remember who they are. Like, you just can't remember like which actors were in there. That's fine. No big deal.
I actually went to Wiki, look it up, and it said Saru and 2 crew members.
Okay.
It's the Asian guy, and I don't remember who
That's
the other
Reese.
guy. I just remember they were arguing with each other.
That's Bryce.
About who was right and who was wrong.
Josh, I'm
Okay,
correct,
so-
right? I'm correct, right?
Yes, you're correct.
you go.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at that. Crew members have names.
Yes.
I don't know the names. Anyway, so a tracker device slipped onto the isolinium leads to our next encounter, which almost leads to Saru getting killed and those 2 crew members. Once again, Book and Tarka escape, but this time to the DMA, and after a third failed attempt to stop Book and Tarka, they destroy the DMA, but the power source Tarka was looking for is gone. And again, both escape, only to realize that the DMA has reappeared, and this time it's bigger and badder, and Navarre and Earth will be destroyed. This time, Disco heads to the location of the 10C, who's behind the DMA, and in a last-ditch effort to make first contact, in an attempt to make peace and get 10C to stop the DMA. In the process, saving billions of lives. It's around this time that we find out the backstory of Tarka, who as a prisoner, befriended a fellow prisoner, Oros, I got that name, who built them a time machine, a machine that would transport them to a peaceful parallel universe. The fate of Oros is unknown after Tarkin's escape, but it's what's driving him to reunite with Oros. Having gone through the great beyond and doing some recon, we finally get our first contact. And as negotiations with an extremely large sentient collective jellyfish thing finally are headed in the right direction, Book and Tarka reveal they are hiding in their ship attached to Disco itself. Negotiations break down as Tarka, full-blown mental now, has imprisoned Book and Reno and is going to fuck some shit up and take the power source and hook up with his young meat Oros. Disco saves the day, and Tarka, along with Book's ship, explode. Negotiations continue. 10C, after realizing what they've been doing with their mining machine, goes ahead and turns it off, and everyone goes on vacation. The end.
I think that's like the top recap of all time.
Yeah, it was definitely hilarious.
Yep.
I tried to make it short, so I apologize, but 6 hours of content right there.
Yep. Look, again, I thought the storyline was good. I know Dave didn't like the storyline in the show, but it was certainly much better. And they actively look. Here's what you can say about the show, and it is, you can't argue this point, is I feel like they've listened a little bit to some of the fan outcry about Michael Burnham and things like that. And I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that the crew wasn't more involved in the entire process in the second half of the season. Like, they're the ones that gave the idea about how to communicate with the 10C. Stamets is the one who came up with the idea how to get out of the orb, right? Like, there were plenty of opportunities for the crew to participate in this. I mean, Detmer almost sacrificed herself to fly the ship into Bookship.
I guess go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, look, I agree. There are still instances where, in general, what I think is happening, what Josh was just saying, that the show's writers and the people who are in charge of its direction have listened and are attempting to change the way the show runs through the singular person that's Burnham. Now, have they nailed it? No. But they're at least doing something a little bit different that doesn't have me rolling my eyes every episode.
Yeah.
Now, if they would just do me the solid of creating anything whatsoever to make me feel for the rest of the crew like they did with Tarka in the back half of this season, I mean, now you're talking about a TV show.
And I look, I'm going to come down to earth a little bit because I know I'm probably enraging Josh. So I'm gonna come back to earth a little bit here. So I agree with you, Josh. I do think that that the show has gotten better about that, right? But I guess I'm not completely prepared to just say, oh, they have fixed all the problems. Right, because giving me one moment or two for the crew members over the course of a 13-episode season is just not enough. It's not enough.
Well, I mean, look, Tilly got a whole episode. Plus, Tilly was out there saving people with the Admiral. Like, look, let's not sell it short here just to fit your narrative.
No. Look, that I'm not trying to fit a narrative. I'm saying, like, look, Tilly.
The issue with that example is Tilly was absent from episode.
She was still a member of the crew. She was still a member of the crew.
No, but she wasn't on a single episode.
She was still a member of the crew.
Look, what I'm saying is I want to feel connected to the bridge crew, right? But outside of Saru, Stamets, and the Doctor, no one else on the bridge gets like even a fourth of the screen time.
Detmer is probably fourth.
Detmer has slowly gotten more and more. But
I'll say this. When they said we need a good pilot and they panned at Detmer, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
I'm not kidding. Like I felt something there. Now I just want to feel that the rest of the crew that's on the bridge.
They gave Reese and Bryce a chance on an away mission, and all they did was fight with each other the whole time. They just look incompetent. I don't want them to look incompetent. I want them to look like the crews of the Enterprise, where we actually appreciate the whole crew, where they actually like dedicate decent amounts of time to them actually looking smart, right? And being competent. Like,
well, but this is not that. This is Star Trek written today. Okay,
know, but
this is Star Trek that is not written like this guy must be strong and this lady must need help all the time.
That's not what I'm trying to say.
I know that, but you're saying, well, these two guys went and bickered and they look weak. That's what it is, man. That's more real life today than what Riker was in the 90s.
I don't watch. I mean, okay, again, if you're if you may be right, and I'm going to concede to that, but I don't watch television to just watch a bunch of weak characters. Then why are they here? Just to show that they're weak? So that I feel like, oh, well, if I'm weak, then I can connect with this character. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to poke fun at it. I'm just saying I want to appreciate these characters. And I can't do that when the only moment of the only actual moment that we get of them without Burnham being in the scene is them not even knowing how to coexist. These people saved the world before with each other. They've done an insurmountable amount of things with each other, and
but
yet
they don't have to like each other.
That's not.
Maybe they have disagreements.
That's super true, but like, and look,
this show does a lot to include people.
Oh, I agree.
There's a lot of people that have never seen themselves portrayed in any way on TV, much less
that has absolutely nothing to do with the characters on the screen being portrayed as weak when they're
it does.
The elite of the elite.
It does.
So these people that are being included, they're weak.
They're not weak.
Okay. Well, that's what.
So look, right now, I'm disagreeing with you guys. Are we all weak because we're having a disagreement?
No, that's not.
We're not on a. So if we were having this argument
while we were piloting a ship,
mission to save the galaxy, that would be pretty stupid. That's how it comes off. Where you have to have the doctor goes, guys.
Yeah,
listen,
but you guys are stuck in this macho world.
It's not a
where it's like
this is not a macho thing.
These guys must be heroes. They must be strong. Why can't they have a disagreement while they're doing this?
And look, maybe I wouldn't care, Josh, if we saw these characters more often and there was more examples of them. Like, I want them to be successful. This is not a macho thing. I want them to be successful. Success is blind, right? I just want them to be successful, right?
Is Earth and Navarre still there?
Okay. Well, let's move forward.
Would you say they were successful?
Sure.
Look, I would say that those two people that are in that pod have been on this Discovery for what, 4 seasons now?
And Reese saved all the people off that asteroid.
Yeah, we never saw him do that.
Yeah, we didn't see him do that.
We don't need to see it. We understood that it happened.
Yes. No, we do need to see it. And that's the point. Like, these other characters, whatever their inclusions are, we don't ever see them do anything.
Let me tell you a little story. I'm gonna be bringing the fire when we get to fucking Obi-Wan. I'm gonna be like, you see how Obi-Wan's beard is groomed? What a weak piece of shit.
Hey, look,
it is.
Look, you're not gonna say anything that we won't say because I am willing to admit fault on the shows that I like.
There's plenty wrong with the show, but I'm not looking at this and seeing these guys being weak and saying, God damn, this is a fault in the show. Like, that's a real life situation.
Okay, my last point to this is I want the other members of the crew to be as important. I want to care about them, and I want them to be as important as everyone else. That's it. I want more inclusion. All right, I want more characters to like and enjoy. That's it. That's all. I feel like that's a reasonable ask.
Okay.
Is it not?
Look, I agree.
Sure.
I agree. Like, it feels like the only time we get significant time with certain parts of the bridge, they're not in a good light.
Anyway. I'm not going to keep smashing my big ass head against the wall here and fucking, dulling the dart here. What about favorite scenes here? I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Listen, look, my favorite scene in the whole back half of the series is basically, it's kind of near the end of the last episode. The crew is face to face now with the 10C. By the way, I think it's a really big miss that nobody here has come up with the fact that the 10C floating around over there looks like the bad guy in Kroll. But he's floating around in the background looking like the bad guy from Kroll. And, Michael's talking, and then all of a sudden, they return Booker to the bubble there because they intercepted his transport in the middle of it. Like the way everything was built up right there, him showing up, the face on Michael Burnham, I got goosebumps. I think that was the best scene of the whole thing. I was super bought into that because I was like, I really believed Book was dead, and the fact that he was not dead and returned to Michael, I thought that was good.
So I'll go next. I mentioned this already, but I liked Tarka's basically most of his backstory and like his friendship that he made with Oros.
I had that as well.
That was a storyline I genuinely cared about. And it really you really got to see because I honestly the way they were booking him, right? If we're using a wrestling term, is as I thought he was a bit inevitably, well, he did, but I thought he was going to have just completely ill intentions the whole time, right? But he ended up being a complex character because, yes, he ended up, making a lot of mistakes that almost cost everybody everything. But he was complex in the fact that he really did have, his own, at least for himself, his own reasons for doing what he was doing. And, he connected with Oros when they were in that, that facility together. And, I enjoyed all those flashbacks and just his confession to Book when he was telling the story and all that. And, I felt for him. Obviously he was.
And I like Oros too. I thought they did a good job with Oros in those little small chunks. I thought it was a good character.
So, like I said,
Go ahead. Finish.
No, I ultimately really appreciated Tarka. He was I wasn't really rooting for him because he almost fucked everything up. But I partially wanted to root for him, but ultimately you can't do it because he almost got literally the entire planet destroyed. So
yeah, I'm gonna just say that my choice was everything that had to do with the entire Tarka backstory. But since Dave took it, I'm going to just grab a little piece that actually hit home. And again, it's going to deal with two characters that they've developed in this show that have the best romance and love story in the show. And that's the Stamets and the Doctor. And I can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
Dr. Culber, Hugh Culber.
Dr. Culber, Hugh. There's a moment right towards, I think it's maybe the second to last episode. The away team's gone. You have Stamets is there talking with
Adira.
Yeah, Adira, and
I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
And he comes in and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were going to be, observing this or that." And he said, this might be it. And after the incident where they almost died with Saru, he's like, I just wanted to be with my family.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie, dude.
That shit was good. That shit was super good.
And to me, and again, not to harp, that's what happens when you develop characters that you care about, and they have their own moment all by themselves, and it's a fucking home run.
Oh, dude,
a small scene that's extremely powerful.
No,
how many people would you say are developed characters on this show? Burnham, Saru, Culber, Stamets, who else? Adira.
Did you say Booker?
Adira.
Booker. If you're counting him as a member of the crew, I was going to leave him off the crew.
Yeah, I don't count Booker because.
I think
it's a fair exclusion.
I was gonna give you Booker, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he's a developed character, but
we can
I would probably.
That.
And I would say Detmer is on the outside bubble. We did get some from her in that second half section.
But I would say she's definitely on a lower tier than the other ones.
Correct.
Okay. And would you say Reno?
The engineer? Okay. The engineer?
Yeah.
I would put her just above Detmer, actually. because we actually get a decent amount. Now, something of note of the people you named, none of those people besides Saru are on the bridge.
Okay. So how many people are developed on Star Trek Next Generation on the ship? Picard, Riker, Deanna Troi, Beverly Crusher, Geordi, Data, Worf.
So who else is on the bridge that's not?
Is there
Who am I
anyone
missing?
on? Who's in the engineering? Or did you already name that person?
Geordi.
Okay. Well, Geordi's also in. Oh, Geordi is in engineering. I thought he was on the. I thought he was on the bridge.
Nope. He's in engineering.
Okay.
Worf is on the bridge. Come on, Dave.
I know Worf is on the bridge, but I swear
okay.
I've seen Geordi on the bridge. Maybe I'm just tripping.
Sometimes.
I guess.
So that was 7 characters versus what did we count for Disco? 7 characters. Oh, okay. Just an observation.
Again, my main complaint is the people on the bridge aren't nearly as important. I didn't say the show didn't have developed characters. I said the people on the bridge don't get enough time.
All right.
Am I wrong?
The only other scene I had was the scene with the Admiral and Tilly as they were, protecting the ships and everything as they flew away, and then they stopped to have a little drink of whiskey there while they thought the world was going to end. And then whenever they realized everything was good, they were like, "Oh!" and they kept on drinking. Yeah, it was good. I thought that was a good scene.
I also like the scene where the away team is on the destroyed home world, presumably.
And they're all like freaking out because they're touching the molecules or whatever.
I didn't go with the freaking out part. I went with where they found the infant ward, the nursery.
And then they all touched it and they felt warm and loved.
Yeah, love.
Yeah.
And that's when that is the moment when Detmer becomes more than just the pilot.
Yep. Yeah, because she helped figure out the problem. Yet another crew member figuring out what's going on versus Michael Burnham.
Yeah, but she also told a story about herself.
Yep.
You actually got to know more about her.
Well, that's good. Jason, sounds like you're a Detmer fan. Who would you say is your favorite character?
For this season, my favorite character? Oh, that's easy. Arkin.
There's not an N on his name, by the way.
I find it hard to believe he's your favorite character when you can't even say his name right. It's Tarka.
Yeah, it's Tarka.
It's whatever. It's whatever I say it is.
Okay.
It's
fucking Grogu.
Grogu? Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
No, Tarka is my favorite character. He had, in my opinion, the best. Besides the main overarching storyline, he had the best storyline in the show. They spent a lot of time trying to make you undecided on whether or not he was evil, bad guy, good guy, confused, or just somebody who
some eccentric guy.
Had a singular vision, and it didn't make any difference how many eggs you got to break to make the omelet.
Yeah. I'll go next because I have a two-parter. So Tarka was one of them. Don't screw me up. So no, I mean I've already kind of said it. I thought he was very well developed. I do think it was somewhat predictable where his storyline ended up. Once you got far enough into the show, you kind of knew, okay, this is kind of where it's going to go. But I still think he was very well developed. He had that kind of, like I said, you couldn't root for him, but you kind of felt sorry for him. So, which is kind of the best kind of, quote unquote villain. Like, he's not really a villain, but he's the closest thing the show had. And I would also want to give it to Book. I think this is a much improved Book from season 3. I think he got to shine a lot more here, and I just think his interactions with Tarka were really, really good. And he got that moment at the end where he got to fucking basically be beamed down in light, and then he got to communicate with the 10C, and he said he heard his own voice and all that, and he got that really good big moment. So it's kind of hard not to root for Book.
His best moment is in episode 1 at the poker table.
No, I think Book was good pretty much throughout the show. When he got to kind of stand on his own, and like I said, his interactions with Tarka I thought were great.
Thanks a lot, Dave. You stole mine. If I remember correctly, I feel like Booker was. I'm pretty confident he was on Jason's least favorite character last season, or maybe it was Sukal. I don't know, but I remember Booker was not very popular last year with you guys.
He's still not that popular.
I liked him a lot.
He was great this season. I mean, I think he played really, really.
He would have been great if they just let his fucking shit stay dead.
I do think from a writing standpoint, maybe this is just, maybe Game of Thrones has just done this to me. So now I think characters dying is good for the story. But I do think it would have made it more impactful for ironically, Burnham's character development for him to have perished. Because I think then, season 5, she'd have been having to pick the pieces back up, and I think it'd have been interesting for her character.
Yeah. Look, I thought Booker was great this season. Since we're going honorary mentions here, since everybody's stealing everybody's, I'm gonna go Michael Burnham as well. I didn't find the same problems with Michael Burnham that I've personally had in the past this season. I thought her being in the captain's chair this year, I thought she did a really good job with it. There was a video I watched about the recap of the last episode, and this guy is just railing on her because she was crying because at this point she thought Book was lost. And she starts crying, and then she immediately pulls it back in and goes into the mission. And I think it kind of goes back to...
That's to me, that was the most realistic Burnham we've seen.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you're
the mission wasn't over.
Yeah.
You're still trying to save Earth. You got to pull your shit together.
Yeah, I think
this guy in this video is railing on her because she starts crying on the bridge, saying the captain shouldn't do that. Like, dude, this is a different Star Trek than any Star Trek or whatever we've seen. So I thought it was a great scene from Michael Burnham, and I was super bought into her for most of the season. I thought she did good this year. Least favorite characters.
Go ahead, Jake.
So it's not Michael Burnham. Just going to get that out of the way. It's not Michael Burnham. My least favorite character is just, and like, it's not. I didn't hate this, but I had to pick something. I would just say the 10C overall. I just think overall they were a little bit disappointing. They were so much. Well,
you want something that was more like sentient that you could see, like something.
I don't know if that's what it is, but it's just like. This kind of goes into a little bit of our problems, but it's 13 episodes and they built this up and they built this up and they built it up and it's like, you even had the mid-season finale and we took a month and a half off. And then the 10C, this is what we get. Like, they communicate through, however.
I mean, look, they put together something that was visually, I would say, stunning. Like, I thought, like, the whole thing looked really, really good. But, I mean, look, it's hard. I don't know. That bleeds into one of my issues as well with the show.
So I'm right there with you, Josh, as far as it looking good. And I would say the 10C didn't look good to me until the very last scene when we saw them.
Yeah.
But, like, up to like before then, it's like Wizard of Oz. Like, all I see is smoke and lights. Like, up to
that shit was expensive, Dave.
I mean, probably, but it looked like a computer screensaver. Like, I feel like you built this up, and you have the DMA, which is this world destroying thing, and the 10C.
I do think to throw you a lifeline. I don't think there's anything they could have done, honestly, when you have this much tension, this much going on, and you were revealing like a brand new species.
No, I get it. I get it from a logic standpoint. because they wanted, clearly they wanted to have a species that was communicated through, emotions over, more so than anything else. And like they had an idea for what they wanted, and there was probably no other way to do it. But I think the buildup and everything didn't help, right? Like it made an already impossible situation more difficult. And I feel like if they'd have just showed them how they looked initially, I don't think that would have been a problem. Like, I think that would have been much better. I know they were going for a big reveal, but like,
yeah, and that's the problem. Like, a big reveal is hard to pull off when the reveal of the species is a species that's, say, the size of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
But, and again, you couldn't do it any other way, because I had an issue with this in the first half of the season. Like, I didn't want this to turn out to be an alien technology, because we're talking about something that was like 1 billion light years across in size. Like, it just so stupid, it doesn't even make sense. So naturally, the beings who created it had to be 1,000 times the size of a man.
Yeah.
So to pull that off. So it didn't even register to me the issues that I had in the first half with that, because I was like, well, fuck. I mean, look how big these fucking things are.
Yeah.
So, but again, to your point, like, I don't see anybody. Like you said, there was no way that you were going to hit a home run and everybody was going to be on board with whatever the final,
whatever the design was. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had a least favorite character. I had Ndoye, General Ndoye.
Yeah.
God, man. She was just aggravating as fuck.
Okay, look. I don't know what happened afterwards exactly. But there's just no, again, this kind of goes back to some of the things with consequence. She's in the military. She betrayed the Federation straight out and was leaking information to a known entity that wanted to destroy. And look, again, I understood her motivation, because from a military standpoint, you want to strike instead of waiting to be stricken, I guess, if you want to say. But like, yeah, like, her character was just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we know she survived, but we don't know what the consequences of her actions, like, ultimately, or did they say that, or did I miss that?
They said nothing about it. Like I said, at least Book was punished.
Yeah.
And Ndoye, I mean, as far as I know, nothing.
To
be fair, she did put her life on the line to go, like, save the day, so maybe that was penance. I don't know, but
yeah, it is, like I said, before we get into issues, that stuff like that, though, there needs to be like an accountability situation where, even if in the military, if you disobey a direct order, there's a consequence.
Sure.
So, like I said, there's things like that.
This is like 800 years in the future or whatever. So
yeah,
921.
Oh shit, my bad.
There's still consequence. My least favorite character was going to be the general, but Josh took her. So honorable mention, Burnham. Look, and
that's a bad take.
To Josh's point, there are tremendous strides being made, but it's not as bad as it was. And I think this token Burnham take of mine is simply because I don't think any of the other characters are just outright least favorite. Like, Adira was fine. We didn't have Gray at all, which was fantastic. Because if she had showed her face or his face once, that'd have been my least favorite character. So the one thing that just aggravates me is the one scene where you have Stamets talking about the DMA and trying to figure out what it is, and saying that he believes it's a mining vessel, And Burnham's like, well, did you look for beryllium in its wake? And he slaps his head almost. He's like, beryllium. Why didn't I think of that? You're talking about maybe the most brilliant mind in this universe. It's stuff like that still makes my eye roll. But Burnham is better than she was, especially last season. And I think they've got a path going forward to make her a legitimate captain that we're used to.
Yep. All right. Hey, look, I think we've already aired out most of these before we've gotten to the issues part, but we got issues. Hey, I want to go first.
Okay.
Because I have something that's not necessarily specific to Star Trek, but I just want to talk about Paramount Plus for a little bit. Paramount Plus is the worst app that I have. I mean, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus.
I don't think it's as bad as the WWE app was, but it's right there.
Dude, I just can't fathom in this day and age when somebody who works for Paramount Plus could just be like, let me just check out the competition. Let me go to Netflix. And you go to Netflix's app. Hey, look, I'm not saying Netflix has the best platform, okay? But, dude, you can log in and you can immediately navigate it.
Yes.
Paramount, you got to log in.
And wait.
And then it's like this glitchy load up. And then you can't go left or right initially because it puts you right on this scrolling thing. So I can't immediately go to the left to search. I have to go down and to the left, okay? Down and to the left. Down.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
and
you want to just speaking.
It's just a minor annoyance.
Speaking of the app, oh my God! And somebody, I know Paramount Plus is probably going to listen to this recap. Please, for the love of God, change the color of the closed captioning text from black. When you're watching a television show and 85% of the screen is dark, you can't read the closed captioning.
You're captioning like the letters are in black?
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's a setting on your side because mine are white.
Yeah, mine are white as well.
Yeah, I don't know how you can change it because through my Xbox, through Paramount Plus, it's all in black. It's the very bottom of the screen. You can't move it, and you can't change the color. All you can do is change the language.
Yeah,
it's a setting with Microsoft. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say if Paramount is going to look at any app, yeah, the Netflix app is good, but I would honestly take a look at the Amazon Prime streaming app. Yeah. I love that one because you can just pause and dude, I love that it's linked with IMDb and you can see all the actors. You can see little snippets of like it's like, oh, what's the name of this character? Pause.
Dude, there was
boom.
My God. There was multiple times where people were in alien suits, and I'm like, I think I know this guy. And I hit pause because I'm used to using Amazon. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to scroll back and forth to try and get the character's name, to try to look it up. And then you're like, I don't even know how to spell this shit. It's like a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a good call out, Josh. That's a good call out for sure.
And you would think that Paramount would have had this thing kind of ironed out before launch.
You know, in other countries, they get Star Trek Discovery on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah. And I would much rather have that.
Well, yeah, you can get a VPN, and then you can make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyway, just wanted to go a little meta there for a minute. Now back into the Star Trek universe.
I've already brought up all my issues, honestly. So
yeah,
I'm good.
Well, like I said, one of my issues was and we already talked about it. I really wish Book would have just stayed dead. I think it would have been more helpful to Burnham and the character.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a good conversation because like shows that do that, right? So Game of Thrones, 24 was like that. Sopranos was like that. Breaking Bad, and to some extent had some characters like that. It makes everything feel more important.
Yes.
Right.
And to what you're saying, especially with Discovery, when you're talking about a show, and we've especially me and Dave, and once again in this season, we're talking about a Starfleet ship that is single-handedly saved like the known universe, the known galaxy. This time they saved billions of lives. The tension is mounting up to the nth degree. Every single moment there's something happening, and nobody ever dies. Even Joanne in the MMA fight, like she gets busted up, like her whole side of her cheek is like swollen 5 times over, and there's a big gash. And then the very next episode, like it's healed. Like there's no swelling, there's no cut. I just assumed that Medbay took care of it, but
yeah, they got future medicine, bro. They got back to tanks.
Yeah, at some point, either somebody needs to die for real, or we're gonna get numb to it and just be like, well, nobody's ever gonna die.
Well,
yeah, I agree with that.
My only addition, and I agree with you, Jason. I guess my biggest problem with them not ultimately deciding to kill off Booker is they're essentially writing him off anyway, right? So like, because I assume that's what it is, because they want to be able to bring him back, but we have to assume, at least for now, in the way season 5 is going to go, I would assume that we don't get Booker at least for a while, right? You would think.
I don't know. Let me read this real quick, because it's going with what you're talking about. So with Booker, and I think we all have a slight issue with this, 2, maybe more than one. But no matter how you slice it, Book stole highly classified tech, helped procure illegal substance to create a weapon of mass destruction, fired on a Federation ship, nuked an alien tech machine of unknown origin that the Federation was attempting first contact with, which led to a worse DMA machine that killed thousands before being shut down. Not to mention, by association, kidnapping a Federation officer, and all he got was community service.
Well, look, when you put it like that, that sounds terrible, but reasons matter, okay?
I think they do. Saying, they do say that in the show.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, that is an issue that's hard for me to overcome, because I just, I know how the world works, and there's going to be some consequences, and I just, people.
They're in a world that's 1,000 years ahead of this one, Jason. That's not how consequences work then.
Some community service. I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, I just feel like.
Look, you could also argue that he saved the day, because had he not punched Tarka and overtaken and shook him up a little bit, they would have killed the billions of people. So not only did he cause a lot of pain, but he saved the day.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying, in the Federation's eyes, and I just equate the Federation to, say you're in the military.
Yeah, it's accurate.
That guy's just, that guy's just not walking. I don't know. Like I said, it's an issue, and we'll just have to get over it, because he's gonna come back. That was really the only the 2 issues that I just couldn't get past those. But it is what it is.
Yeah. The other issue I have with the show is I just and I had this issue last year, and this was something that I said at the end of last season that I hoped wouldn't be the case this year, is the stakes don't have to be this high all the time. Last year you had the burn and the whole thing, and it was this universal problem. All right. And then this year you get the DMA that actually takes out an entire planet, and potentially is going to wipe out Earth and Navarre and the rest of the universe. Could I just get a conflict with another race that's just me versus you? I don't need the whole fate of the world on the Discovery / Michael Burnham's shoulders.
That's why season 1 was so fucking good.
Yeah. And season 2 was good because that was the first time they put the galaxy in peril.
Yep.
Yes. But now it's been 3 straight times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. And you're right. Look, again, and I think this has been part of the issue that we've had with the Burnham character is that she is like, and I don't want to say single-handedly because that's not exactly how it played out this season, but she has saved the galaxy, trillions of lives. Like, can we just get? And look, I hate the fact that I'm even going to say this. But can we get a couple of episodics where there's just something going on and we get to go on a fun journey for once? And then, like to Josh's point, can we just make it a conflict between two factions or two sides or just something smaller?
And like the fate of everyone doesn't hang in the balance. Like,
yeah. I mean, look, it could be like you could have a civil war in the Federation next year, and it could be Earth versus Navarre, right? Or whatever. Like, and it could be something like that.
The Borg.
Yeah. Still there.
I would go no Borg, but like I'm just saying, like it could just be this personal conflict. And look, there's like, I look, I don't like to use this term, okay, but people talk about this as being woke Trek, okay. If we want to continue down that path, like this is I don't know. This is as close as we've been to a civil war in a long time, just in terms of how much, there's the Trump versus everything else out in the world, right? Yeah. So it's not really like close to civil war, but just a lot of unrest. Like, bam, here you go. Next year, President Carilla or whatever, I can't remember what her name was, like, she becomes a tyrant, and you got some dissent in the Federation, and you got to go figure that out. I don't know. I'm not saying I would enjoy that, but just something that is just... Yeah, so just lower stakes, man.
You know what I would have loved this...
And then you could build some characters up.
You know what I would have loved this season to be? And they had it gift wrapped. Gift wrapped for them to be in this season. I think this would have been immensely better. Probably boring for a lot of people, but better. They were going around giving people... making people warp capable again, right? To different planets.
Yeah. They're handing out flux capacitors.
Yeah,
you could have just spent this season doing that, and when they go to a planet where they have to, where they're going to deliver, and then some shenanigans happen, right? Which we saw a glimpse of in the beginning of the first episode.
Early, yeah,
and like I think they had been doing that for like 9 months or a year or something like that. It was a length of time.
You give us that 9 months?
Yeah, can we just have gotten the missing season, right? Like the in between where they're just given, they're just visiting all these planets and getting in trouble and just
reestablishing first contact.
Just some classic Trek type of stuff.
Now, like to what Dave and we are kind of clamoring for, like I would die for if it was Star Wars related, because. Maybe for somebody like Josh, who's the big Star Trek guy, but reestablishing contact with races or species that Josh is familiar with, say all of the other Star Trek that had fallen out of the Federation over this span after the burn, and then to see where they are now. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
At least on Josh's aspect, because then he could fill us in on why that was important.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't get that. So I hope, and I would give anything to have at least half a season of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so we could not have to save the whole fucking,
Yeah. I just feel like they had that gift wrapped. They had that season. Yeah. They could have shipped that, and it would have been, man, I feel like it would have been well received. Super well received.
Well, look, I was slightly concerned going into this season to start after season 3, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this was a good season, so I'm excited for season 5. I think hopefully, look, how many times can the writers sit there and think of what's the next universe killing thing, right? So
let's hope we don't
somebody
find
in
out.
there has got to be surely somebody's got to be in there thinking like tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, can we not end the galaxy this time?
Yeah.
No.
So nice segue. What do we think going forward? Now, first, wait. Do we think Karka is dead? He broke the
Yes.
golden rule.
He's gone.
Um,
I saw him explode.
I mean, they played it up. They played it up pretty
He
heavily.
was on.
They play it up pretty heavily that he's gone.
I mean, because look, if he warped out of there, the 10C would have caught him because they caught Booker too. So look, maybe he's flying around in limbo, but then why wouldn't they reveal him at the same time as revealing Booker? They don't know which one's which.
Because one, he was holding the device in his hand to teleport to a parallel universe. I'm just saying, like, it was there. There's an out. If Tarka is a popular character, they could theoretically bring him back.
Look, if the tagline for season 5 is Star Trek Discovery season 5, Worlds Beyond, all right, then I'll say maybe Tarka's alive. All right.
Look, Tarka's as dead as that family down in Florida.
Damn. All right. Fine. Whatever.
That's
We
deep.
never saw
From
that.
Hunters.
That's a deep. I got it. It was a deep cut.
Okay, so now where are we going next? Next season 5. What do we think? We're gonna be seeing a lot of holo calls, some holo sex tapes from Booker and
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant because of like a pandemic level disease.
No,
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, COVID in space.
I think unfortunately, Josh, I'm gonna go with what the show has shown so far, and I don't think they slow. I don't think they slow down. I think we will have another world-ending event.
I don't know, man. I just
world ending.
like maybe somebody comes and takes over the Federation, like a la Black Panther. I know Jason hasn't seen the movie, but when Killmonger comes and takes over the whole kingdom of Wakanda, right? Like maybe somebody sneaks into the Federation's base and overtakes it, and then there's this whole thing. I don't know, man. Just give me some smaller stakes.
Yeah.
It could still be a big deal. It just doesn't have to be like saving, kablillions of people.
Nope, I disagree.
I agree.
I don't think that's well. I would hope that's the case, but Josh, I just don't think that's what they're gonna do.
So we had we had multiple world-ending events.
Yeah.
I can't think of what the next one is going to be.
I don't
So
know.
it's definitely going to be one thing that could take over a fledgling federation, and it's going to be
The
a
Klingon.
Borg.
The Borg. The Borg aren't coming in. Like, the Borg are like an exclusive Picard storyline thing. Like, the Borg aren't going to show up anywhere else unless Jean-Luc shows up, all right?
Well, he is.
Speaking...
I mean, he is a robot. So
And speaking of Picard, the next Star Trek show that we're going to be talking about here, and we're going to do a, depending on how the season breaks up, is we will be doing a Picard review of season 2. And then hopefully we're going to do Star Trek Strange New Worlds review as well.
I'll see.
yep.
We don't, yeah, you guys seem real thrilled about that. Look, that's going to be a good one. That's going to have all the development. You're going to have Captain Pike. You're going to have Spock. Jesus fuck.
I mean, I really have no idea what even that is. Like, I haven't seen a trailer for it, so I have no clue.
Jesus fucking Christ. The second season of Disco, okay? Remember the Enterprise rolls up, okay? You got Captain Pike. You got Spock.
The best captain so far.
Yeah, and remember, they burn off to go do their own adventure. Guess what? They're making a TV show about that adventure called Strange New Worlds.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, and there's going to be a young Captain Kirk in it too, bitch. We're watching it. Okay.
Hey, look. All I know is Picard episode 1 was just as good as anything I've seen from Discovery.
Haven't seen it yet.
Oh, well, you're missing out. I can't wait to hear your
Well,
reaction.
I wanted to finish Disco. I don't want to cross the streams.
Josh, watch episode 1 tonight.
No,
Do it.
I don't have time. Does it have a cyborg that we don't know is a cyborg that blows up after fighting?
Look,
Remember the first episode of Picard last year? That was the best episode.
yeah.
Everything else after that was pretty much garbo.
Look,
I mean, they had data in it.
we're spoiling it. Let's just watch. I mean, let Josh just watch it. Just watch it. Stop being stupid.
Okay.
Anyway,
And then-
I have hopes for Disco season 5. I have hopes. I think writers have figured something out, and I think next season will be a legitimate season of disco. That's my take. I'm going to stick to it. I don't think we're going to save the galaxy or the universe.
I like the optimism.
I think we're going back to something that's more. It's easily writable. There's got to be. Look, there has to be, without a shadow of a doubt, actions within the universe that were cut off from Federation after the burn that resent the Federation for not helping them more than they did, just abandoning them to wherever they were. Not the Emerald Chain or whatever the fuck they turned out to be, but something similar that has it out for the Federation. It writes itself.
You're correct.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Metalhead's Journey with Metallica. In the meantime, live long and prosper.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
Let's fly.